Hope to me is what makes us able to move forward and grow as a person.
It means believing that there is something good to come.
It means being able to trust that the world is mostly good.
Despite the challenges that we are faced with, it means that everything will be okay. If you are someone who is lost or is about to lose a loved one, then our goal in sharing this video is to help you find hope in a difficult time.
There are many different ways to think about hope, and there's no one right way. A common idea is that hope means to have trust and a positive outlook for the future. It's a feeling that guides us through hard times in our lives.
Here is a powerful example of what hope meant to one person as she faced the loss of her mother at a young age.
So in 2008, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and it was only 5 short weeks later that she actually passed away. I'd have to say probably the hardest 5 weeks of my life, which is saying something considering I recently broke my neck and was in the hospital for 5 weeks. But anyways, as a 14-year-old, I would say that I was definitely in a little bit of denial during my mom's treatment. I remember somebody telling me to never grow a wishbone where your backbone ought to be, and I think that's so important because it's important to be hopeful, but it's also important to be realistic and find that balance. And I think that I was more on the hopeful side because my mom was fighting so hard for her life, so I thought everything would be okay. I'll never forget one of my last memories with my mom. She was pretty ill at that time, and we were laying in bed together, and her favorite song, Let It Rain by Amanda Marshall, came on, and she grabbed my hand and lifted me up out of bed, and we started slow dancing. And it was in that moment that I kind of realized, like, even in my mom's weakest moments of life, even though cancer filled her entire body, she was still able to fulfill her life, even if that meant sort of one last slow dance. And I think that her courage and strength to fight back against cancer kind of made me courageous and strong, regardless of what the outcome was going to be. Most days I find myself missing Mom's presence more than anything, but if it's one thing that I have learned in the last 8 years, it's that she is more present than ever. I miss her physical kisses and her hugs and her famous laughter, obviously, but at the same time, she doesn't just exist in old photo albums and old diaries. Beyond all the tangible and visible aspects, I can still feel her everywhere, and I think her memory definitely lives on. I'd say that life quickly became a lot more meaningful after my mom passed away, and I credit Mom's passing in making me the person that I am today. Overall, I began to invest more time and effort into relationships. I began to live in her memory and her honor, whether that was through my career or through school or through traveling. I began to seize the day and take advantage of every opportunity, and most importantly, with accepting her loss, I think I began to finally live again.
An important message from Marie's experience is that hope can change as situations change. Hope is not always about being cheerful, and it's not about hoping for the impossible. As we take the facts of a situation into consideration, we can find realistic things to hope for.
Shifting one's mindset from hoping for a cure to hoping for improved quality of life is an important process that takes time. As we begin to plan for a peaceful death and to create memories with loved ones during their final moments, it is normal to feel pain, disbelief, and vulnerability. However, being realistic will help to ensure that you and your loved one are mindfully present throughout this difficult time.
Looking back on Marie's experience, it is important to note that hope is understood differently amongst individuals, cultures, and religions. We all have our own ways of coping with grief, and what works for some may not work for others.
That being said, fostering hope will also be unique among individuals. Some ways that have been shown to do so include taking part in activities you enjoy, surrounding yourself with caring and trustworthy people, taking time for your spiritual practices, thinking about happy memories, and considering ways to leave a legacy for your loved one.
If there's one piece of advice I could give to anybody going through something similar, it would be through a quote by C.S. Lewis, which states, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." And I think that's so true.
I find hope by imagining a future where I am both happy and healthy.
I surround myself with friends and family.
I find comfort knowing that they are always with me.
And I try to make the most of every moment.
For more information about resources online and in Nova Scotia, visit these helpful links.